Going live. Hey,
Hi, Earthlings.
welcome back.
It's been ages since we
Yeah.
did this. I'm
So,
excited.
so this is a very special video, like usual. But today we're going to talk about a tricky topic.
Yeah, so as you've seen in the title, we want to talk about the New Age movement because, especially within the freedom movement, we have met many people who have told us that the New Age movement was in fact started by those who seek to control the population
Yeah.
and seek to distract humanity from true awakening.
And some other people believe it's very infiltrated with this programming. And we want to expose what actually can be harmful in the spiritual New Age movement and what things actually has a true meaning and it's very authentic and actually helping humanity. So you can have more awareness on that and don't fall to some of those traps.
So a disclaimer, we don't know actually if someone started it, if it's infiltrated, but we can just share from our own perspective what we have noticed isn't helpful versus is helpful.
Yeah, we did do some research about this and we found some cross line, something between the satanic ritual stuff and the spiritual movement, some of the symbolism and all these things. But we didn't have like a clear intuition of that is right or not. We feel there is intuitively something wrong and something unhelpful and maybe harmful actually in the spiritual beliefs or spiritual attitudes, and we're going to share it with you so you also have awareness about it and don't fall to those traps.
So what do we even mean with the New Age movement? So this is basically an umbrella term to cover kind of this new spiritual awakening where people are using different tools and teachings to benefit their own healing journey. And so that could be anything, from meditation to using crystals to trauma healing to ecstatic dance, or contact with other humans.
Yeah.
So we have basically 4 beliefs that we want to talk about that can be harmful or somehow distorted. And then at the end, we're going to share about other kind of practices that can be used as a distraction away from true awakening or creation of the new earth.
And we're going to do sound check. If you can hear us and see us, let us know. And
specifically, if you cannot, let us know. That's important.
Or if there is something weird with the voice, with the noise, with everything. And we want to welcome Dan. Welcome. Our first comment, first heart from Dan. Welcome, Dan. And we'd love to know where are you watching us from. Maybe how did you find our channel? We'd love to connect with you more and get to know who our tribe is. So let us know during the chat or now or whatever. And if you resonate with this topic, or if you find helpful, give it a like. That will help the algorithm represent it to more people and reaching more of those who need it.
Yeah. In New Jersey, nice.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi from Berlin. All right, let's start. So, number 1, that you can manifest anything with your manifestation skills, basically.
Yeah, and I think this started at the kind of like when the book The Secret was released, when all this like, oh, we manifest our reality, which is true to some extent because we are the creator from our mind and consciousness, but it was so distorted to the degree that it's now I see it more harmful than helpful.
Yeah, like sometimes, for example, I see many people, they kind of decide what they think they want. And sometimes this can really come from an egoic place, meaning from the like driven by our own wounding, like, oh, I need to have this thing. And then we almost like try to bend reality to make that thing happen and create all kinds of manifestation rituals and visualizations to like convince that I must have that thing. Whereas, I don't know, like I feel like this isn't helpful because it's actually coming from the ego, thinking that we, first of all, always know 100% what we want and need, and that thing is gonna like help us. And there is this like almost arrogance, like that I can just bend reality,
Yeah.
To my will.
Yeah. And you want to go say?
Yeah, like, and to a degree, there is truth to this, because we do impact our reality, and we can use our free will and our focus to achieve things, of course, absolutely, and we should use that, to create things that we want.
Yeah.
However, I do strongly see that we need to combine our free will with this kind of trust and faith in the universe, that we don't always know, that our plan isn't always the plan, that there is maybe a bigger plan for us, and the reason that we didn't manifest that thing could be that that's not the thing we need. That's not in the service of our highest alignment.
This happens usually when there is a pain and we try to manifest trying to cover this pain. Like, for example, when we have a father wound and we want to manifest a man in our life, or a partner who love us the way we missed our daddy loving, like fatherly loving energy. When we're trying to do this constantly and not really looking at the pain of where this desire coming from, this is where we fall like a victim of this way of thinking that actually not helping. And in many cases, when this pain is not dealt with, we can't really manifest, and the life would show us just the opposite. So we can look at the debris, and only when we do that, we can actually have the remanifestation. So life is giving you what you want, what you actually need in order to fulfill this desire. But because you are so fixated on the outcome of how this would look like to you, you're not able to see how the universe is actually helping you to manifest that.
Yeah, so for me, it needs to be this dance between my free will and focus versus surrender and trusting that the right thing will happen, what needs to happen, without going into complete passivity either. It's that balance.
Yeah. And that also requires actions as well. Goes without saying, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2.
Yeah.
Everything is one.
Oh, Solipsism. This is one we both were like facing this in one of our psychedelic journey, and it's very common that people take plant medicine or psychedelics, and they go into those dark roads, and many of them bring it back with them. And some even, I have a client who experienced this outside the psychedelic when he was like connected to some dimension or whatever. And as a result of this Solipsism, we see ourselves as the only thing, only creator, only thing. And this is actually the opposing thing of oneness, opposing thing of being part of a big creation thing.
Right. So here the kind of the distortion is that like everything is a reflection of me. I am the center of everything. And it almost becomes this, I'm the only thing that's real. And this can be really depressive, actually, because then it's like, then does anything matter?
Yeah.
Like
it put you in a situation where you actually really not interested in life. Like everything is gray.
Yeah, like deep loneliness can come from this place. It's like this viewpoint that if I'm everything and everything is me, then I'm alone.
Yeah.
But this is actually a distortion of the truth. Because most of us if you're not fully awakened, you're still identified with your ego to a degree, which means the ego thinks everything is it. The small, tiny ego is like, everything is me. No, it isn't. If it's coming from that place, that statement is untrue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and here again, it's the harmful way of viewing this, or the painful way, is everything is a reflection of me, versus, and there is also truth to that, but let's not go there now, versus I am a part of something much greater, a great mystery that I could not possibly understand with my human mind.
Yeah.
And that again requires that kind of like leap of faith almost.
And humbleness.
Yeah, humility.
Humility to really allow the creator to show you how amazing life is and how deep it is. And I think also the downside of the kind of like the cultic way of it is when you see yourself in this, I'm the only creator, you might fall to the pattern of there is nothing right and wrong. And we have made a video about it.
That's the next point.
Okay, we're going to talk about it now.
Yes. Sorry, I'm the one with the notes here. So
She's well prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the I'm the God versus I am a reflection of God, and I'm learning what that means. That I couldn't possibly understand the vastness of what God means from my human perspective. And that feels much more like it's like you become a child.
And so alive. Like it bring you alive. Like it move life from this gray zone that really nothing really matter, and then it become this like shiny, beautiful aliveness, joyful life.
Right.
Yeah.
So what Ram was already saying, what ties often into this worldview that everything is one, like I am the only thing that exists, is therefore there is no right or wrong. And if there is no right or wrong, what you do doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Yeah, which is very, very dangerous because I believe what's happening in the world is a result of people not taking action or of what they see as injustice or wrongdoing or unethical behavior, whether it's from authority, whether it's from government, whether it's from religious group, whatever.
Yeah, and this kind of like mindset can really allow people to deflect bad behavior, like outright immoral behavior,
and justify
because it's like saying, you know, like maybe you do something that harms others, and then you just tell them like, why are you judging that? Like what are you judging, and why did you manifest that?
Putting the blame on them.
Or like there is no right or wrong, you know, and therefore evading taking accountability. And therefore being responsible in our actions, in our words, in how we impact the co-creation. Yeah.
Welcome, Ravel. Good to have you here. And it's really cool how you found us then. Welcome.
And I just want to, from this point, say like, if we are indeed all connected, but I can't really grasp it. It's not like everybody is me in that egoic sense, but I know that I impact everything, then suddenly everything becomes meaningful.
Yeah.
And there is aligned action, and in that sense, which we might call right action, or misaligned action, which we might call wrong action.
Yeah.
And then every thought, every word, every action becomes meaningful.
Yeah, and your life become like a responsibility in a meaningful way. Like you would be waking up and feeling like, what I want to contribute to myself and others. And that for me personally, it gives me a lot of purposeful and meaning in my life, that I feel like I'm doing something. Everything I'm doing is impacting the world and impacting myself, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful feeling. My life has a purpose or meaning. So, number 4, I create my reality. Again, of course, we agree that we are, we can change our reality. We are responsible for the things in our reality. However, here what is harmful is that people often fall into this kind of self-blame, where it's like as if we could possibly somehow, be
get it wrong.
Get it wrong, like that maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, or like I used to have this like attitude when I not doing like enough meditation. I would go like, oh, this bad thing that happened to me because I was not doing my morning sadhana, morning practice, and this kind of like self-judgment and self-hate almost is actually part of self-hate, like partly self-hate, is because we don't trust the universe that what's happening to us is leading us to a better understanding for ourselves and the world around us. Yeah.
Exactly. So because we might say that, yes, we are a vibrational match to what is happening in our reality, but it's not like your fault. It's more like we are discovering who we are, and the universe is constantly helping us by reflecting things back to us. So if we didn't know that thing about ourselves, how could have we possibly created something different? And that thing that happened was necessary for us to gain awareness. So it's almost like the universe is constantly conspiring in our favor to help us on our journey of self-awareness and awakening. And in that sense, it's it's almost not fully accurate to say I create everything, because that's a very proactive way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But we are not proactively creating everything. If I'm not even aware of something in myself, that thing is creating reality.
Maybe another accurate way to say it is I create everything with my earthly awareness and my higher awareness all together. So everything that is me, which include everything, is creating everything in the external.
Yeah, so I think we need to learn forgiveness. And again, forgiveness for ourselves that we don't know all the time what we're about to create next. And trust in that whatever happens is there to help us. It's not like we got it wrong and then this bad thing happened. Challenges come to help us, evolve.
Yeah, and that also shouldn't be misunderstood of not putting personal goals, not following plan, not having like clear intention for our life and for why we are here. So all this intention, I think intention is the most important thing for our like spiritual journey, like where we want to head, and here where the universe can intervene with us and help us, guide us, support us to be where we want to be.
Yeah,
It's not about being passive and just accepting whatever it comes. It's about like understanding why everything in the external is the way it is.
Right.
And feeling what's the message, what are we getting from that?
Yeah, the universe works with our free will.
Yeah.
It has to. That's one of the kind of agreements in this life that we have, is that we have the free will. And that's also why sometimes, it seems like we are not helped because we haven't actually agreed to that, or we haven't asked for help. Right?
I didn't get this point.
Never mind. It's a bit beside the point, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. So
okay, next one.
So the next one is not really a belief. It's like there is a lot of practices and tools within the New Age community that can be helpful and can also be used in a way that diverts us away from like true embodied awakening. And we just want to like go through some of these things, not saying that they are in and of themselves wrong or bad, but just pointing to how, when not used with the right wisdom,
they can be distracting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, she made a big list. Yeah, usually we talk about the video and then she sip it all in like a very clear note. So thank you, Mia.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so number 1, spirit guides. A lot of people are really excited and almost obsessed about connecting to their spirit guides. And that can be a really, of course, beautiful.
Distraction. Yeah, of course it can be beautiful, but also in many cases it's a distraction. And sometimes it's a way to seek validation, like, oh, I'm so spiritual that I can connect with my spirit guide. Oh, I'm so deep and esoteric and special that I can do that. And it could be also used as an avoidance of connecting with, like, the idea of connecting of something higher than you could be a bypassing of your true intuition is the biggest guidance for you.
Right. So I actually think that this is one of the reasons why most people cannot connect to spirit guides, because if that were to happen, it wouldn't serve them, because they would suddenly place all their how do you say, like, responsibility on the spirit guides to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So I think we need to learn more like discernment and to trust our own guidance first and foremost, because also an issue is that sometimes we might connect to something we think is a spirit guide.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this one. This is so important because I saw so many people fucked up themselves because they thought their spirit guide was telling them to do something that might be super weird and super harmful for their body, for their environment, for their intimate friendships, for the family. So yeah, just be careful.
And it might actually not be your spirit guide. It could be any other spirit that it has its own motives. So like, this is why it's so important that we don't place this kind of, we don't like glorify or put spirits on pedestal, because we need to learn to discern, first of all, what's their intention. Does it serve me to like take advice from this being like you would do with any human being?
Yeah. Ravel cracked a joke. Oh, My spirit guide fell down the stairs. Now I have to buy new.
Yeah, right. Okay, second
next?
one is this kind of idea that all there is love, and this kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna like hug everyone and cuddle and everything is okay.
Mhm.
And this kind of like being loving can be used to brush over one's negative feelings, judgments that are sometimes valid,
Mhm.
or painful experiences, or like
And where do we see this? In the happy community.
Yeah.
Usually in the love and light is very common.
Yeah, and this can be
Yeah.
harmful if that in any way kind of does not honor one's actual truth, what one actually feels, or who one actually wants to be connected to or close to.
Mhm.
And there can be this kind of forced love
Yeah, and
towards
you
everybody.
see at some point like all the suppressed anger was like heated up to the degree that it's like a huge explosion. And you wonder what happened to this love and light person.
Yeah. And energy healing. Again,
Mhm.
energy healing I think can be amazing. I have some friends who are super talented with energy healing.
Mhm.
However, if it's used in a way thinking that that is the only thing that needs to happen, and then one doesn't need to do any inner work or make any changes in their lives,
Yeah.
it can be really distracting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it would be harmful, this one, but it's like you might not feel anything. And this is why people try Reiki and try many things and they say nothing changed. Yeah, because nothing changed, because you have to move your butt. You have to do something.
Well, it can be harmful in the sense if it distracts you from actually making other like real
Oh,
changes.
right. Yeah.
You
In
think
that
you're doing
case,
something.
yeah, in that case, you would, if you are dependent only on it, then it's harmful because you're zapped. Like there's no way for you to make actual change, and then you're waiting for the energy to arrive to you.
I love how you invent words.
Yeah, zapped is not from me.
No.
Yeah, if you watch my privacy group, you will know from whom.
Okay. Next one. Okay,
Yeah.
this is kind of related to the being loving. It's about polyamory, which is very common in the spiritual community. This kind of free love, that kind of breaking free from the old norms and kind of marriage type of expectations,
Mhm.
which can be beautiful if it's done consciously. But in many, many cases, it coming from shadow reasons.
Mhm.
And also many people kind of can do that ignoring how they impact others.
Yeah. And I feel this is a really big topic. Like we tried to do a course about it, and it felt for so long it's not complete because there's so much things we want to add to it. But we have published a video about it. So if you're interested in this undefined love, we call it, check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. And yeah, I can see how many people in the polyamorous community are just jumping from one person to another to avoid looking what's dysfunctional in the connection with the first one. So it's happened so often with people who claim to be very conscious and very aware, and they are talking non-violence communication and many other things, but it goes really, really deep to the energetic level sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So trying to develop psychic abilities while not even understanding our bodies, our emotions, or having totally messed up human relationships, but then having this focus on like, oh, I want to
Bend the spoon.
yeah, or like learn telepathy, can be really a serious distraction from like fixing our lives in a way, in where we are out of alignment or not happy.
Yeah, like you don't like if you have an issue with your relationship, you don't need to learn astral projection. You need to learn how to communicate, how to be present with your partner or friend before you jump to those spiritual practices or gifts or whatever.
Yeah, and quite often, those abilities begin to open up as a result of being an integrated human being in the physical, learning to be a master of our physical being, like where we can really tune into the body, feel our emotions, express.
Yeah.
And then those abilities begin to open up.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last point in this.
Before you mention the last one, guys, if you have any questions, just write us and we'll answer it after the last point. So, time for questions. Yeah, the last point.
Last point is when sometimes people seem to be seeking excitement from sort of the paranormal, out of the ordinary, through like aliens and reading about the new children, like the crystal children, or all these like spirit world.
Yeah.
And because their lives are actually feeling dull or void of creativity, maybe they don't have really close connections to other humans, and there is that void. So then people start seeking excitement from other things.
Yeah.
And that can be a distraction from actually looking at why do I need this? What is lacking in my life?
And in many cases it become more like a identity thing, like, oh, we are the Pleiadian race background, starseed, all these things, and they kind of like, I found it a bit silly, like how people just like limit themselves in this esoteric identities and not really see the totality of who they are, which is kind of like sad and strange in the same time. Like I feel sometimes I can't relate. So yeah, I think it's valid, the perspective of like seeing that we are not just human being in this body. There is like much more to us, but just like moving the ego from your small identity to bigger identity is not actually helping either. Yeah.
Yeah. And that being said, we don't also want to like say that none of these things are not helpful. They can be. In fact, anything that brings us closer to ourselves, to our inner truth, to here and now, to understanding ourselves and others, to creating harmonious relationships is helpful.
Yeah, and I think this is what we want to finish the video with, because when I so emphasize on how to make a difference between what practice that helps you and what practice that is not helping you. And for me, the main indicator of this is seeing, like, after doing this or after engaging in this kind of activity, how am I feeling in this moment? Am I feeling more myself? Am I feeling closer to my truth? I'm feeling the alignment between my mind, heart, and my body and spirit. Am I feeling I'm more connected to my purpose? And the feeling is the indicator. Like I could be identify like, oh, I know I can gain so much knowledge and now I can share it on social media and make a post and I get so many likes, or I can make a picture of what happened, and then like all this thing is a distraction. It's like all come back to my own truth. Like when I'm going to sleep, am I feeling more fulfilled in my purpose? Am I feeling more of who I am?
Right, like inner peace, groundedness, groundedness in your being.
Yeah,
I think that's a good question. Like if I feel more confused or exhausted, or that's not necessarily good, because sometimes trauma healing can be exhausting.
That's true.
But yeah, like that. Do I feel clarity or do I feel confusion?
Clarity is one big one. Confusion is also like an indicator that something is not true or something does not align to you.
If you go a lot into stories to your head versus just being here and now with that clarity.
If there is something that sparks envy in you also, that also might be an indicator that there is something that aligned to you, something that's not clear in you, that you want it in the outside and you don't see it in yourself. So that's like also an indicator to see what's not aligned to you. And that's a bit tricky because it might come as a result of surfacing trauma and not necessarily of a specific practice. But yeah, worth mentioning.
Yeah, I also think like if a practice makes us feel disconnected from the body, or a bit like too overwhelmed, might not be helpful for us, versus I think anything that really grounds us in the body, so we can feel deeply and be here and now, is helpful. Except
for breath work. Breath work can make you feel ungrounded, but also can give you a lot of insight, right?
I always feel still afterwards. grounded in my body. Like it's more like it helps me to access other
you meant
of...
something. Okay, now I get you. You meant something like in the process and after the process. After the process, the feeling of grounding and the feeling of
peace. I feel a lot of inner peace after breath work usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any other questions. We will answer them after the video in the chat. And if you like it, if you find it helpful, share it and subscribe if you are new to our channel. And also want to ask you, because we are planning to do a video about Tilswan, a teacher who have helped us in our spiritual journey, and we'd love to hear your perspective on her, and if you have tried her teaching, and we'll include some of your perspective, guys, our community perspective on her and how she maybe contributed to your awakening or your healing or your life, your relationship in general. So let us know. And that was a great journey. Thank you for me. I think without you, I would go all over the place. You sorted the points.
That's my job.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Again, if you leave us comments afterwards, we will still read them and answer them. So please do interact and let us know how you relate to these points.
Yeah. And hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Dan. Bye, Ravel. Bye, everyone else.
Yeah. In stream.